Hello and welcome to the news on NTAi International. I am Chinenye Nwoye. First, let's bring you the headlines. 1,000 women benefit from Nigeria's First Ladies Empowerment Program. 61st International Agricultural Show opens in Paris amid opposition to trade deals. And United Nations Special Envoy to Congo calls for immediate ceasefire in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. Many thanks for joining us. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has renewed his administration's commitment towards supporting sectors that will enhance the goal of empowering the youth and ensure overall growth of the country. The president spoke on Saturday at the State House during a meeting with the leadership of Flutterwave, a fintech company. We'll bring you details of this report in our subsequent bulletin. The 61st Paris International Agricultural Show opened Saturday at the Paris Export Port de Versailles amid French opposition to a trade deal between European Union and 4 South American countries. Chukwunonso Nwabueze reports that Morocco was the first foreign country to be honored at the event.
The 61st Paris International Agricultural Show is underway at the French capital, with President Emmanuel Macron stating that his country is still trying to assemble a blocking minority within the European Union to prevent a trade deal with 4 South American countries from coming into force. The deal between Brussels and Mercosur bloc members of Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay and Uruguay was announced as a win-win by EU Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen in December 2024, but is facing stiff opposition from France and agricultural groups. Macron, at a press briefing before the opening of the event, emphasized that they are opposed to the deal to prevent their farmers from being an adjustment tool. Although negotiations have been concluded, the EU-Mercosur deal still needs to be approved by at least 15 of the European Union's 27 member nations, representing a minimum of 65% of the EU population. Meanwhile, Morocco, led by its head of government, Aziz Akauche, became the first foreign country to be honored at the historic event. More than 600,000 visitors are expected over the 9 days of the show, which ends on March 2nd. Chukwunonso Nwabueze, NTN News.
Senegalese Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko has expressed worries over the Court of Auditors' reports on the management of the country's public finances under President Macky Sall. Again, Chukwunonso Nwabueze reports.
Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko was speaking at the parliamentary session on government current affairs, which focused on the surge in prices and the removal of subsidies following the publication of the Court of Auditors report. He described the handling of the country's public finance between 2019 and 2024 under former President Macky Sall as particularly worrying. Senegalese government had on February 13th this year announced possible legal proceedings against those responsible for serious breaches on debt and budget deficits under Sall's administration. He, however, stated that second phase of measures to reduce the cost of living in the country will soon be introduced. This follows the implementation of the first phase. He assured members of the parliament that price reductions will be implemented calmly in collaboration with national patterns as well as at the international level through reduction along the supply chain. Sonko highlighted the considerable efforts made by his government to lower the prices of essential goods, emphasizing that despite a challenging economic situation and the inheritance of a struggling country, President Faye has undertaken measures to cut cost of living by engaging various production sectors. Chukwunonso Nwabueze, NTN News.
President Donald Trump has fired the chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff's Air Force, General C.K. Brown, and pushed out 5 other admirals and generals in an unprecedented shakeup of U.S. military leadership. President Trump said in a post that he would nominate former Lieutenant General Dan Razin Kane to succeed Brown, breaking the tradition by pulling someone out of retirement for the first time to become the top military officer. The Pentagon says the president will also replace the head of the U.S. Navy, a position held by Admiral Lisa Franchetti, the first woman to lead a military service, as well as the Air Force Vice Chief of Staff. Also affected in the shakeup are the Judge Advocates General for the Army, Navy, and Air Force. President Trump's decision sets off a period of upheaval at the Pentagon and a dramatic overhaul of its budget, as well as a shift in military deployments under Trump's new America First foreign policy. United Nations Special Envoy to Congo, Bintou Keita, has called for an immediate ceasefire and an end to hostilities in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. Keita, during a briefing, said there is no military solution that will end the suffering. Only peace and security can end the violence and commitment to inclusive dialogue and reconciliation.
Let me reiterate MONUSCO's urgent call for an immediate ceasefire and an end to hostilities without condition by the M23, whose military actions continue to destabilize Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo and threaten regional security. We call on Rwanda to end its support to the M23 and to respect the territorial integrity of the DRC in line with the commitments made in regional peace processes.
Rwanda-backed rebels have captured 2 key cities in Congo's mineral-rich east in less than a month after a major escalation in their years-long fighting against overstretched and weakened Congolese forces. Reports say with the support of thousands of troops from neighboring Rwanda, the M23 rebels first took Goma last month before marching to Bukavu in an unprecedented advance as they took up arms more than a decade ago, further raising fears of a regional war. Authorities of Suez Canal is speeding up construction and is to inaugurate a new phase of a 10-kilometer stretch that extends the 2-way lanes out of 190-kilometer-long canal. This is to complement the extremely low shipping traffic during the Gaza war.
The Suez Canal Authority has made use of the extremely low shipping traffic during the Gaza war to speed up construction and inaugurate the new phase, a 10-kilometer stretch that extends the 2-way lanes to 82 kilometers out of a total 190-kilometer-long canal.
This project increases the capacity by 6 to 8 vessels a day, which increases revenue. It also cuts the transit time, shortens the trip and saves cost for vessels and avoids the congestion we've seen before.
The $200 million project includes digging deeper along a 30-kilometer distance to allow heavier and larger vessels to pass through. The canal that links the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea is the fastest shipping route between Asia, the Middle East and Europe. It accounts for 13% of international trade and ferries 1/3 of global container cargo. Since the outbreak of the Gaza war in 2023, the canal had witnessed a near 90% drop in revenue when Houthi militias began hitting Israeli-linked vessels at the Red Sea, thus pushing the companies to use the alternative but much longer Cape of Good Hope route. With the ceasefire in place, the authorities have been trying to attract clients back.
There are financial incentives, and we also offer to partially pay the high insurance costs for vessels using the canal. The companies using the Cape of Good Hope will return to the Suez Canal when there's long-term peace and stability, because the Suez Canal route is faster and cheaper for them.
But this could take some time, though.
I expect there will be a gradual return to this route, but for logical reasons, it would take months. I expect not before the second half of 2025.
The Suez Canal is a major source of hard currency revenue for Egypt, and government officials are hoping to see stability restored in the region to speed up its recovery.
African countries are urged to leverage the public-private partnership PPP investment in redefining the continent's economic landscape. Through PPP, identified as a catalyst against neocolonialism in Africa, leaders can gain full political and economic stability long pursuit for the continent. This was the view of an erudite scholar, Professor Kingsley Moalu, alongside other speakers at a lecture organized by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Abuja. Garba Natala reports.
Amidst uncertainties and challenging times globally, Africa remains underdeveloped, speakers say, trapped in economic neocolonial forms, aid interventions hindering sustainable growth. Speakers here agree that through strategic public-private partnerships, Africa can reduce dependence on foreign aid and determine how to conceptualize PPP as an innovative solution.
By embracing public-private partnerships, strengthening our institutional frameworks, and investing in leadership development, we can leverage the private sector for development outcomes, avoiding debt traps, and pave the way for a self-reliant and prosperous Africa.
For our continent to be part of solution rather than of the problem to global challenges, Africa must put all instruments at our disposal to use. Now, this is a shared responsibility for all.
We must leverage on the potentials of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area in reshaping the growth of African economies whilst expanding the opportunities present for its largest demographic dividend.
It is projected that Africa accounts for 7% of PPP investment, indicating a low level of growth. Hence, there is need to educate policymakers to strengthen institutions.
As a country, you recognize that when the private sector is involved, when you have a contract, whichever government comes in, you're going to respect that contract. You're not going to have these funds into the PPP.
We will agree, we will have terms of engagement, we will have profit sharing. Then, now let's talk about the people that are in service. How do we accommodate them?
To positively impact the foreign policy of Nigeria, we will continue to make available to the policymakers the result of our brainstorming exercises to guide our foreign policy options.
With the theme, Economic Liberation through PPP, a catalyst against neocolonialism in Africa, the lecture promotes President Tinubu's 4D Foreign Policy Trust and highlights the need for Nigeria to leverage sustainable solutions to drive the desired development. In Abuja, Garba Muhammad Atala, NTAi News.
Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, has empowered 500 women across 21 local government areas of Kogi State to make them not only self-reliant, but also contribute their quota to the nation's economy. Ajibola Christopher reports that the wife of Kogi State Governor, Sefinat Ahmed Ododo, performed the ceremony in Lokoja on behalf of the First Lady.
Items presented to beneficiaries are generator set, refrigerators, rice grinding machines, and gas cookers. Representative of the First Lady of Nigeria and wife of Kogi State Governor Sefinat Ahmed Ododo expressed gratitude to Senator Oluremi Tinubu for her unwavering support to women in Kogi State. She says the empowerment is a testament towards uplifting the standards of women in the country to enable them become outstanding businesswomen who are self-reliant to contribute to nation building.
For this empowerment program, I encourage you to use these resources to start or grow your businesses.
Representative of the Senior Special Assistant to the wife of the President on SDGs, Musa Usman, commended Senator Oluremi Tinubu for her visionary leadership and unwavering dedication to improving the lives of women across the country. He says the Renew Hope initiative will continue to serve as a beacon of employment and economic transformation.
It is all about using it in business so that it will multiply, so that the return on investment will make it to be more than, if you are given one item, we expected that in years to come it will be much more.
They said when you empower a woman, you empower a community, you empower a nation, you empower a state. Today they are empowering some few men, 500 women.
Beneficiaries expressed gratitude for the support given to them.
We will use it for our own individual empowerment and for the community.
I feel happy. In fact, I am excited. May God promote them more than this.
The empowerment, which cut across the North Central State, is targeting 18,500 women beneficiaries. Ajibola Christopher, NTAi News.
You're watching the news on NTAi International. We'll take a break here. There will be more reports thereafter. Do stay. Many thanks for staying on. 500 women in Niger State have benefited from the empowerment program of the Renewed Hope initiative of Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, aimed at equipping women for economic growth and prosperity. The gesture, courtesy of the First Lady in collaboration with the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals, was flagged off in Niger State by the wife of the governor, Fatima Mohammed Bago. Husseina Musa reports.
Of the 18,500 women enlisted to benefit from the empowerment program across the country, 500 women from across the 3 senatorial districts of Niger State went home with industrial grinding machines, deep freezers, gas cookers, and generating sets aimed at building their businesses. This is in recognition of the critical role women play in nation building, in line with the Renewed Hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which prioritizes inclusivity, economic growth, and sustainable development for all Nigerians, particularly the women folk.
I benefited a gas cooker from Her Excellency, and I feel delighted, very happy. At least I will use it to make myself self-reliant.
It will bring us out from poverty and to stay on our feet.
By the time we use these items, we will improve in our self-making incomes.
Wife of the Niger State Governor, Fatima Mohammed Bago, who flagged off the program on behalf of Senator Oluremi Tinubu, described the initiative as a right step to achieving SDGs, gender equality and women empowerment.
It's for humanitarian purposes. I was given a message from the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to come and bring down to our people, which I have done. These are items that are going to really add value to them if they make judicious use of it.
The empowerment program, which was flagged off in Zone A, is expected to be replicated in other zones of the state. In Bidda, Husseina Musa, NTAi News.
The governing All Progressives Congress says the monumental feats achieved by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda within the shortest period in office is now wooing more Nigerians into the APC fold. The National Zonal Secretary of the party for North Central, Yakubu Adamu, says this while receiving a total of 500 defectors from PDP, SDP and Labour Party and the governing party. The zonal leader of the party specifically appreciates the giant strides of President Tinubu and the focused leadership provided by the National Working Committee of the party under the chairmanship of Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje.
With the family that we have met, we'll move this great party that is more than a party for the family forward to winning the forthcoming elections.
Receiving some important people from other parties like PDP and SDP, it is a plus to the party. And that is why we give this occasion a very good attention. Stage 1 to stage 100, by the special grace of God, will be receiving the campaigns.
Other leaders of the party say APC is firmly rooted on the foundation of quality leadership geared towards changing the narrative of the Nigerian economy and giving everyone a sense of belonging, as demonstrated by the party at all levels of governance. Party chieftains urged the new entrants to feel free and contribute to the growth and development of the party in all future elections, particularly with the FCT Council elections, which comes up next year. As 66% of inmates await trial, they say justice delayed is justice denied. But in Nigeria's correctional centers, justice is not just delayed, it is stuck. To help ease the burden, the Nigerian Correctional Service has unveiled 39 new green barriers for safer inmate transport, along with bullet-resistant guard boots for added security. Victor Azu reports that President Bola Tinubu has also approved the relocation of 29 correctional centers, shifting them from crowded cities to more secure locations.
Behind correctional walls, the numbers tell a tough story. 6 out of every 10 inmates have never been convicted. They are not serving time. They are just waiting. Waiting for a court date, a lawyer, or simply for the system to catch up. With 53,225 inmates stuck in limbo, the new Green Marias promise safer, smoother transport, getting them to court faster and hopefully justice sooner. Alongside the vehicles, 5 bullet-resistant guard boots capable of withstanding GPMG fire and explosives have been deployed to protect key correctional centers.
The acquisition of these vehicles directly responds to the evolving challenges facing the Nigerian Correctional Service, particularly in ensuring the timely production of inmates in courts.
But for those inside, the real concern isn't the ride, it's the wait. The Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunjojo, says relocating 29 correctional centers from congested urban areas is part of a bigger reform to improve security and efficiency.
The President has graciously approved for us to start the process of relocating about 29 or so of our correctional centers that have been eaten up by urbanization. For instance, Akwa Ibom, why are you facing the government house?
New bosses, stronger security, relocation plans, it all sounds promising. But will it fix a system where justice takes years? For thousands stuck in legal limbo, the hope is simple. If authorities can move inmates in new vehicles, maybe, just maybe, they can move justice forward too. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTAi News.
Concerned Niger Delta civil society groups are calling on the public, stakeholders, and media organizations to ignore the allegations of misappropriation of funds circulating in some quarters against the presidential amnesty program. The groups, while rallying behind the ongoing transformation of the presidential amnesty program under its present leadership, described the allegation as false. The groups say Nigeria's crude oil production, as a result of the amnesty presidential program, has attained renewed stability, just as it has also contributed significantly to national economic growth, and will not sit back and allow such unfounded accusation.
We concerned the Niger Delta Society, civil society groups comprising of the Abuja Youth Consultative Forum, ex-agitators, Ndukwa Youth Association, and other key critical stakeholders of the Niger Delta have convened this press briefly to categorically refute the baseless and malicious allegations leveled against the administrator of the presidential amnesty program. These allegations, which seek to undermine the integrity and the leadership of Dr. Dennis Otuaro, are nothing more than desperate attempt by vested interests to derail the transformative agenda.
I'm a student of Base University. I'm studying international relations and diplomacy, and I can attest to this. I can boldly attest and tell all Nigerians that we benefit excellently well from this program.
The group said a lot of reforms and progress in the Niger Delta have been well documented with the establishment of presidential amnesty program under Dennis Otuaro, and reaffirmed their dedication to the peace, stability, and development of the Niger Delta region. Former Vice President and 2023 PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar has called on well-meaning Nigerians to emulate the courageous disposition of the late elder statesman, Chief Edwin Clark. He made the call in Abuja while leading an entourage to condole with the family of the late elder statesman in his Abuja home. Timothy Yusuf reports.
How are you?
Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, in the company of former Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, are among the latest to pay condolence visit on the family of the late elder statesman, Chief Edwin Clark. They paid glowing tributes to him, urged citizens to emulate the courage to speak to power at all times as exemplified by the late Edwin Clark.
Before he died, he kept on saying, I'm a Nigerian. I'm a Nigerian. I'm a Nigerian. I love Nigeria. And I think this is a very, very strong message to all of us to make sure that we maintain the unity of this country.
Other dignitaries who also paid tribute to the late leader of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, include the governor of Taraba State, Agbu Kefas, Edwin Clark, a strong voice for the advancement of the Niger Delta region and unity of Nigeria, passed on Monday, February 17, 2025. Timothy Yusuf, NTAi News.
And that's the news on NTAi International. Many thanks for watching. I am Chinenye Moe.